Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
And we welcome into our program this morning Kapiti Mayor Guru. Kia ora, Guru.
Kia ora, man. Kia ora and good morning to all our listeners.
Excellent. Now, we've been chasing along to find out what's happening to our airport. We haven't heard anything from Air Chathams. Have you got any information that you might be able to help us out with?
Look, a lot of work has been done. Some critical part of it are technical issues in terms of, aeroplane loading, safety issues, charges, landing charges from the airport, Airways Corporation, the whole range of things. So, in these sort of matters, you need to be very careful.
Yes, you can't jump the gun, can you? Got to
no,
make sure
and we need to negotiate in good faith.
Yes.
And because a lot of this stuff has been done behind closed doors, all I can say is that we are all working for a common outcome. It's good to see that, from my side, Council is working well with Nathan Guy, and I'm also working well with the government, the current government.
Yes.
So each of them have got a critical role.
Yeah, fair enough.
So work is underway.
Yeah, Air Chatham's still very keen though on the
we need to keep them keen.
Yes.
So incrementally, some of the obstacles have been removed. So that's where we're at.
Good. Mightn't be for some time though before we see it.
Well, it'll take a few months.
Yeah, a few months. Fair enough too. Good. Now, Zeal Kapiti Youth Development Centre, I believe that's nearing completion. Did you pop down and have a look at it?
I had a look at it last week. It's looking really good. The facility, and I think the location is great because it's kids coming together. They have functions and events, and so it's going to be noisy. So it's not a residential area. So by the same token, they're also close to transport.
Yes. So
it's working out quite good.
Good. There was some criticism about the council putting too much money into this, but we've got to look after the youth, haven't we?
Exactly. And you want to build the facilities at the top of the cliff.
Yes.
And not operate an ambulance at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
So, they work in with Kapiti Youth Support. I suppose the two go together, do they?
That's right. And the Kapiti Youth Support, of course, has got a tremendous services they produce. I haven't caught up yet. I'm hoping that the new budget has something for vulnerable young people.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see whether the KYS has got a boost.
Oh, that's a government budget that was announced.
That's right. Yeah.
I haven't seen too much about that, to be quite honest. It's so much in depth about health. So
I mean, this is part of the health funding.
Yes. So whether they might include that.
Yeah. I haven't checked and see whether how much or whether they potentially will receive some funding.
Yes. We just touched on health there. Do you think with the amount of money they're giving out in health, it might help Kapiti get a decent hospital system? I'm not thinking of a full-blown hospital, but
early next month we are actually sort of almost close to working out a date for presenting this petition.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to happen early next month.
Yes.
So we need to drum up. We'll give you some details probably next week.
Oh, excellent.
So we need to drum up some support from Kapiti to actually go there.
Yes. They're very keen on spending money on health services, so we are in with a chance, aren't we?
Absolutely. I mean, even if the bricks and mortar doesn't happen in the next couple of years, if it's within the longer term plan, but we need the services. If they can deliver the services earlier and then eventually they can shape up into a hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the population is booming at the moment, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the resource consents we are getting in. And people are, let's touch on the growth. One of the issues that came out in the long-term plan was some of the developers and planners are saying that our growth projection of 0.7% is actually too conservative. They reckon that with the transmission gully project, when it's completed, there's going to be a huge tsunami of growth pressure, and they want to see whether council is ready for it. I think in terms of availability of land we have.
Yes.
We have that both infill. We prefer infill to keep the density of our urban centres more robust, and also when you have development within the urban area, your services are already in there. Greenfield development means you've got to put the piping out, the drains out,
right.
the stormwater,
so infrastructure's there, you might say.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, we need to keep each of those communities separate. So we need green spaces in between.
Right.
Why can't I needs to be different from Paraparamo?
Sure.
And yeah.
Okay, so that is a good chance for us to develop our business here, but I see where some of the submissions saying that our commercial rates are going to be too high. Is that a problem that came out in the LTP?
No, I mean, look, it did. Some people, the business community did come and raise that issue. We spent about 2.7 million on our economic development activity. This includes, of course, the substantial funding that we put into the town centre redevelopment because of the expressway. Includes that. We are not asking for new money. It is the money taken from the economic activity funding budget already, but we are shifting it and putting the $500,000 on targeted on commercial as a commercial rate. And I think Kapiti is the only one left, apart from probably Wairarapa, where we don't have a commercial rating. All the other councils have a commercial rating. And the argument that if we have commercial rating, then businesses won't come, then you got to say we didn't have it in the first place. Can you show me that our business have grown because of that? So the argument is not infallible.
So when we say commercial rating, what sort of rating are we looking at? Not the same as our local rates here for the public.
No, I mean, this is targeted. I mean, also, I think there's a cap in terms of how big. This won't be affecting small businesses.
Right.
It's big business. I think Coastlands is looking at $50,000 per year.
Right. So any further development, they come in with the knowledge that they are going to be paying commercial rates.
Yeah. So every year, according to your commercial base that you have, there'll be a rating. I don't know the exact formula the rates department will do. So they're looking at 50,000. So it is aimed at the big players.
Yeah, sure. And I see where the Kapiti Economic Development Agency, KETA, they put up a LTP submission, didn't they? They want to sort of take the initiative out of the council having to do the work, still need the council in behind them, but to develop the economic side of it. Did that come up in your LTP submissions?
Yeah, we had quite a robust discussion, and I support them because I think when you have people who are passionate and people who are thinkers and innovators, and when you get a whole lot of them together, you create the type of, and they're passionate about Kapiti.
Yes.
And that's important because council can't be doing everything. In the business side, we cannot be implementers, but our role is as facilitators. So eventually what they are looking at as a independent economic development agency being set up. Maybe, they're looking, I said, look, do you want us to take the 2-point-something million and give it to you all and say, you do it? Liz Cole, who's leading the discussion for that group, she did say no, they're not looking for the money to be given to that group, but eventually to facilitate it so we, like all the other ones, they can get a grant. But let's see, this is early days yet.
Yes, it is early days, but it may save the council, well, just say $2 million, we mentioned that figure, it might help them out, but we still need the council in behind it.
That's right, because we are, regulators.
Yes.
So whether you like it or not, we'll be involved in some area, whether it's a consenting process and a whole range of things. So we need to be part and parcel of that. Yeah,
because the Kapiti Chamber of Commerce are mooting the same sort of question too, aren't they?
Well, there you go. You have another set of organizations. They are businesses. They represent businesses that are already operating, and I think to be fair, I attend the chambers meetings every now and then. A very small group of people actually working on it. They've got a membership of about 300, but huge amount of work they do, and they've got their own businesses to run. So my heart goes out to them in terms of their passion for the business community, but I think from the business community, more people need to put their shoulders to the wheel, so to speak.
Yeah, sure.
Really.
We're at that stage.
Yes, right.
That's
because,
right.
If they burn out, what happens?
Yes.
Who's going to carry on?
Yes, that's right.
Really.
But we've got to be, yeah, I can see. Even Otaki area, they need to be looking at this, and they are looking at this. They've learnt from what we've made mistakes at, haven't they?
That's
Otaki,
right.
they're a jump ahead of us.
Well, yes, that's one thing good when we are in the same district and you're learning, and it's in phases like the expressway one.
Yes.
They've learned very far, whether it's a gateway project or they got $150,000 and another $150,000 from NZTA, we match it to work out on the impact.
Sure.
So that's good. They've been thinking, and they work very hard.
I see you're pretty pleased. A record number of people have signed up for the Kapiti's first pop-up business school. Do you see any benefit from that from the economic development side?
Yeah, I think the Tony Anderson, who's working, he's quite a dynamic chap, and these are a pop-up business. You've got about a range of things. Whether it's the legal side, the company law side, electronic sort of online advertising, marketing, PR work, and social media work, and how to handle your tax. The whole range of it, but within 10 days or something like that, they can put this course together.
Yes.
So if there have been a lot of people with ideas, but do not know how to take the next step. So this has been quite a fantastic. And at the end of the 10 days, they're going to have to put up their case in Coastlands.
Yes, next Tuesday.
Yes, right. This is going to be quite
coming tomorrow.
It's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, that's right. So, this is really just for small business, isn't it? We're looking at here.
Yeah. People with innovative ideas and stuff like that. Older, people who are retired might want to do. We've been thinking of, setting up a business and stuff like that.
Yes.
I was actually talking to the mayor of Pururua, Mike Tana, and they had a session down there, and that's when I came across Tony. And in discussing, I said, why don't you come to and have a go in Kapiti? And I was glad to see that we've got more people registered here than when they did it in Pururua or in the Hut. So that's really good.
So, all right, that's okay. We may be getting more small businesses here. Now, somebody made a bit of a mess up on the Amazingard Road. We got the road done, but now they put some broken yellow lines, and I think the council's had a little talk to the person concerned, have they?
Yeah.
The road between Makarini Street and Ratanui Road.
Yeah, yellow lines along there, and I think one of the problems would be with there's a doctor's surgery down there.
Yes.
And at certain times of the year, like flu shots and stuff like that, there are little car parks inside there can't go, and people need to park outside.
Right.
So they're one of the first to sort of wave the flag and say, hey, what's happening here?
Right.
I think someone has been over-enthusiastic.
Sure. Now, just coming back to finish off with the long-term plan submissions now completed, when do you make your final decisions?
Well, we've got another workshop coming up at the end of the May, but let me just touch on that. We had, over about 320 submissions. We heard 120 people at a hearing for 3 days and 2 evenings. That's
tiring. A long time.
That's a long time. But it was interesting. One of the key areas that's come up that's creating angst is the move for the roading charges from currently sort of district-wide fixed charge. I mean, the argument is, everybody uses the road, everybody's got to pay the fair share, So we're moving that into a capital value charge. And of course, what that means, the higher value properties will pay more for their share of the road. So that creates a whole lot of angst around there because, philosophically, how do you argue the fact that, if you've got 3 cars, does that mean you're using the roads more? And therefore, and if you've got no cars, why do you, and you live in a very high property?
Yeah.
But
you've got to decide somehow.
Yeah. So what the Shane report said was that measurement of affordability, you work out from the value or capital value of your property will show you your income, that you're better off, so you can afford to pay. It's in the sense of measuring affordability. And so if we go to the Shane report says capital value is a good way of measuring it. So if we put more of the rates down into capital value, then it becomes more affordable for people who are on lower value properties who have lower income. But the trouble is, rating is a blunt tool, and when you do something like that, the anomalies show up. So we also know in Kapiti, we have people who are asset rich, mostly retired people, but income poor. What happens to them?
Yes, that's right.
And so, but we do have rates assistance. We put aside $175,000 a year to help out on this, and you can get the rates rebate, which that's a government one, is about just over $600. But then even there, people say, why should we who have worked hard and invest in a property now have to go and beg and give our details of incomes and stuff like that? And so the process has become, older people who come from the old school have a sense of pride. And
yes.
But I'm saying this is not, you're not begging, this is your right. Because in council, in trying to balance the affordability for factors, sometimes we have these anomalies and we're trying to fix that up. So it is your right to have it, not that you're begging for it.
Right.
2 different things.
Yep. So in the long run, you talked about, say, 4.5% rate rise increase for the Kapiti Coast. Do you think that might have to go up a wee bit? 4.7, was it? Yeah, somewhere around about that. Do you think with what you've heard now from the long-term plan submissions, you might have to say, well, we might have to increase that a bit? I mean, let's be fair. People want stuff.
Yeah.
And some of it's important to get it done.
Yeah.
So 4.7 might not be enough. Do you think you could see it
well,
going
I
up?
think we that's a challenge for the councillors.
All right.
We need to keep to that, and that's why there are more people. We haven't sat down and calculated in terms of all the submitters who wanted things done. Normally, the staff will calculate that and see how much more they've asked for. And I tell you what, every time annual plan or the long-term plan comes, you will see a basket of desires costing at least about 4 or 5% rates increase on top of that.
Yes.
Which we can't do. So it's going to be a huge challenge, but I think our councillors are up to it.
Guru, we thank you for your valuable time this morning, and we'll talk to you following Monday.
Thank you, sir. You have a good week.
Thank you very much.
106.3 Beach FM.